Hello, my name is Fran Toledo, and I would like to talk to you today about a subject that is very near and dear to me, and it's exercise. But it's not just exercise, it's actually more of stress and exercise and the benefits that even the minimal amount of exercise can provide and do for you. So, one of my things that I'd like to share with you is my personal testimony about stress and how it pretty much caused me to have a nervous breakdown at one point in my life. And so I had a lot of issues that were taking place. I had two daughters that were coming about adulthood and had recently remarried and had a lot of issues with my children not really um, caring for the man that I was about to marry. And so, as you can imagine, it caused a lot of family stress. And so, the Brady Bunch effect, if you will. So, that was just one of the contributing factors that took place in my life, and that was a big one. The second one was work. Um, I relocated, and I actually ended up working at a workforce center just like I did previously in my other place of employment. And then I ended up picking up a second part-time job for the library districts, which I actually had worked as well for my previous jobs. So some of these things of normalcy actually maintain the same for me in that sense. I will tell you that one of the things that really helped me to deal with a lot of stress, especially with my family situation, was exercise. And it wasn't a lot of exercise. It was just a little walk or um, a little bit of just stretching and movement. Um, but it wasn't until here recently that I really got more active into exercising and really felt the effects and the benefits of exercising in a stressful working family life environment. Okay, so that's basically what I'd like to talk to you about today is just the benefits to exercising in a very busy world that we all live in, because I know that everybody has a lot going on in every variation of their life, and it's just how it is nowadays. So a little bit of history, back in the day, a lot of families just had um, a mom and dad and maybe two kids, three kids, even maybe even six kids. But back then, the mother a lot of the times actually was the one who stayed home and helped to nurture and raise the children, right? And prepare the family meals and things of that sort. And even then, they even had um, some families who actually did a lot of homeschooling. So there was that opportunity where the mother could really bond with the children because she was homeschooling her children as well. So move up 50 years, let's say, that's not the case anymore. Nowadays, we do know that it does take two incomes to actually really provide a decent living for a family, even a family of four. Okay, so it's an inevitable thing that most families do have to have two parents who work to contribute to the household's overall earnings, and especially to provide for children's extracurricular curricular activities, excuse me, for after school sports or even sports that are in school these days, because I was shocked when my eldest daughter asked me if I could help her to help pay for fees for my granddaughter, which I would do anything for. But they are really high up there, and I don't really know how families do it nowadays, let alone, four kids, let alone just having two kids. So that is just a stress in and of itself right there to even think about that, to be honest with you. But a lot of the times, that's what families have to do. And so they have to work, they have to take care of their family home, and they have to rush home and pick up the children and make dinner, get them fed, and then bath time, and then read to them and put them in bed, and the next day starts all over again. And so these are a lot of contributing factors that can lead to stress. Now you throw in school. Okay, now I was one of those people who actually tried to go to school back in the day and tried to obtain my associate's degree with my two children. And first of all, I was a single parent, Second of all, I worked full time. Third of all, I had a second part-time job. And I was really blessed that my mother was a huge contributor to actually helping taking care of my children, because without her, I could not have done it. And so she really helped me with taking care of my kids, especially when I had to work my second job after I would get off of work from my first job. So I did try to take online classes. I did try to take an NC class every now and then. Back then, online wasn't really a big thing then. So there again, my mother stepped in and helped take care of my children while I went to a class, because I really didn't have time to take more than one or two classes. So there's another level of stress that adds on to you that was on my back as well. And so these are all things that families are doing nowadays. And so what I have found is that if we incorporate just a little bit of exercise into our day, it can really help to release a lot of those stress builders that we have that just seem to pile. And it can put a huge weight on your shoulders. So one of the things, though, that I'd like to talk to you about, though, is that in the Bible it does say that we have to work, right? And we all know that we all have to work. And it's just a given. Unless you are grandfathered into a family that can give you riches from the get-go, then then you're very blessed. But for most of us, we all have to work. And I know that a lot of you can relate to this, that it's easier if you have more money coming in to provide all of the basic necessities for your family. And so in the Bible, I'd like to read something from you from the English Standard Version Bible, that says that in Timothy 5:8 identifies that but if anyone does not provide for his relatives, and especially for members of his household, he has denied the faith and is worse than an unbeliever. That's deep when you think about it. When you really think about the terminology in that Bible verse. And even the Bible says that we have to work. Okay? So it's already written in there. And for those of us that don't work, you're very blessed. But like I said, it's easier for families nowadays to contribute to the household if there's more than one person doing the providing. And even in my own personal situation where I don't have children necessarily at home anymore, it is easier for my husband and I to buy all those little gadgets that we like: new computers, laptop, car, RV, whatever. But we do have to be realistic and be good stewards of our money as well, because that is also mentioned in the Bible, right? It is. So Timothy 3:2, another verse that I'd like to share with you is that, therefore, an overseer must be above reproach, the husband of one's wife, sober-minded, self-controlled, respectable, hospitable, and able to teach. So these are all other foundations of working, that as an overseer, that we have to see ourselves be respectable. We have to be good stewards of our money, as I just mentioned, and we can't be buying things for idealistic reasons. Okay, we can't idle the iPad. We can't idle, the latest and greatest technological, watch, the Apple Watch, the fitness watch. Okay, I know a lot of people carry those Fitbits and things of the sort. I actually had one, but it actually broke. And so, and it was actually controlling me, to be honest with you. So, I have found that that was an additional stress as well, because I was finding myself not making my 10,000 steps. Therefore, I was stressing out that I needed to get going and do something to complete that. But what I have now found is that as long as I get up and move at least a couple of times from my desk, I'm doing good. I don't have to be held by the 10,000 steps. Okay? So that was a huge accomplishment for me. So I let go of that stress. The other thing that the Bible also talks about is stress. And it is mentioned in the Bible as well. Philippians 4:6 identifies that do not be anxious about anything, but in everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving let your requests be made known to God. Give it up to God. Let God handle it. Pray about it. That's what He's there for. He wants us to lean on Him. We need Him, okay? When we're stressed out, we need to ask Him, Lord, how can you help me figure this out? What can I do to make this better? How can I overcome this situation? And for me personally, I say to myself sometimes, Lord, I work full time. I commute to Denver back and forth. That's an hour and a half each way every day, okay? Then I got to come home, and sometimes I'm subbing at the library, or sometimes I'm working another job that is really part-time, for a campaign, doing a lot of mailings and things of that sort. And then I have class on top of that. So I have no time, and that is a stress for me because I believe family is very important. And we have to make time to be with our family. And for me, I have to make time to be with my husband. And I have to make time for my granddaughters and my daughters who actually live up north, which is 2-hour drive on a good day up in that direction. And my mother and father live up there as well. So that's an additional stress. Traffic in and of itself can be a stress, as well as many of you have come to know I-25. When it gets backed up, it gets backed up, and there literally is nowhere else to go to get off the road to travel in a different direction. You actually are just stuck there. So that stresses me out when I know that I have a lot of time constraints that I need to meet, especially with homework and things of that sort. That's very important to me to get done. And so, as I mentioned, I work a full-time job, commuting, and then I come home and I chit-chat with my husband sometimes, and sometimes I'll tell him, look, if you want to come to the gym with me today, let's go. We got to go now. And I kind of stress him out because I'm on a tight timeline. I have no room, to dilly-dally around for even 15 minutes, because from the time that I get up to the time that I go to bed, which is early, I have to make sure that I have accomplished everything that I needed to get done for that day. So I have no time to watch TV. I have no time to really do a lot of things, other than maybe watch TV in the morning to see what the travel report is on I-25. So one of the other things that I wanted to get back to you about was that stress is actually mentioned in the Bible. And another good verb or passage, that is really dear to me is the one where it says, Philippians 4:13, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Yes, people, that is the word right there. Okay, so God is there for us. He is there to help us. And we can overcome a lot of things if we just believe and give it up to the Lord. That's what you have to do. So, that's what I do. I pray all the time. And I say, Lord, help me with this situation. Lord, help me with this situation. Lord, I got homework due. How am I going to get this done if I got to go to work? Because I got to make sure that I have enough money to get me by from this week to the next week. So there's a lot of challenges and a lot of stresses there. But it also is important to me to make time to exercise, because my overall health and well-being is very important to me as well. Because if I'm not fit, and if I'm not functioning up here and my physical body is not functioning, nothing is going to function. Nothing is going to happen. I'm going to lose my job. I'm going to be at home. I'm not going to be able to go to school to concentrate on my schoolwork, and I'm not going to be able to work my 2 part-time jobs. So it's very important to take care of ourselves, and that's kind of going back to what I was talking about, the benefits of even just the smallest amount of exercise can really relieve a lot of stress. So on that note, what I would like to share with you is that I have an article from Health Status that is the importance of physical fitness. And one of the things that it indicates in here is that what is fitness? Okay, a lot of people ask, what is fitness? Well, what is fitness? It's not going to the gym and spending 2 or 3 hours being a bodybuilder. You don't have to do that to be fit. And here, what it basically states is that fitness does not only refer to being physically fit, but also refers to a person's mental state as well. If a person is physically fit but mentally unwell or troubled, he or she will not be able to function optimally. And that is exactly what I was just saying, is that if a person is physically fit but mentally unwell or troubled, he or she will not be able to function. Mental fitness can only be achieved if your body is functioning well. You can help relax your own mind and eliminate stresses by exercising regularly and eating right. Now, I really didn't touch on the eating right part of this conversation, but that is actually another important piece to this, because in actuality, if you don't eat right, your body can't function very well either. And so um, here's an analogy for you. Somebody who's really stressed that likes to drink a lot and thinks that drinking can overcome a lot of their stresses, well, in reality, that resorts to alcoholism. And we all know that alcoholism deteriorates the body, and it deteriorates the liver, and it causes cirrhosis of the liver and things of that sort. And you can actually die from that. So drink water, okay? Because pop or soda, some may say, or even juices, have a lot of calories. And a lot of the artificial sweeteners in sodas are not very good for us as well either. So, in retrospect, drinking a lot of water will actually contribute to the overall wellness of your organs, and it actually helps to lubricate a lot of your organs so that you stay fluid within yourself. So we do know that drinking water is very, very helpful for you. Another thing that I'd like to mention in this article that I pulled up is that it is important to be physically fit. Why? Well, one of the reasons is that people who are physically fit are also healthier. They are also able to maintain their most optimum weight, and they are also not prone to cardiac and other health problems. In order to maintain a relaxed state of mind, a person should be physically active. A person who is fit both physically and mentally is strong enough to face the ups and downs of life and is not affected by drastic changes that can take place. And this is very true, because from my personal testimony is that I can deal with stress a lot easier now that I have been more accustomed to exercising and relieving a lot of those stress factors through my exercise. I have found that there has been a lot of challenging times with my own personal family, as far as my daughters, that it's a lot easier for me to deal with those things that are out of my control. If sometimes I find myself just going for a run or just going to the gym, maybe lifting a few weights, sometimes that can actually release a lot of those tensions that I have to allow my body to kind of go back into a different direction of relaxation in some ways. And exercise, let's face it, can be somewhat exhausting as well, and can be painful on our bodies as well, especially as you get older. And with age, joints and tendons and things don't usually stretch very well, and it can be a little bit more cumbersome to actually be healthier in a way, but in the long run, it really is more beneficial for you. Another important thing that I had found was that an article out of the Mayo Clinic describes stress management, and that it also indicates here that exercise in almost any form can act as a stress reliever. Being active can boost your feel-good endorphins and distract you from your daily worries. There you have it, from the Mayo Clinic. The Mayo Clinic, an article that I pulled up online, and a very reputable university as well, has described that it does pump up your endorphins. It's mediation in motion, and it improves your mood. And it does. It really does. It really helps to contribute to all of those factors of your overall well-being as a person. Because life, as we know it, family, work, part-time job, no part-time job, school, those are all contributing factors that all of us have at some point in our life. And if you are blessed enough to not have to go through the stresses in life, then you are considered very blessed. But I will say that the majority of us will go through some sort of a stress issue in our life that really can contribute to our health. And so just the everyday processes of working can really cause a lot of stress. So a few things that I'd like to go over with you is that exercise doesn't necessarily need to be hardcore in a way. I have mentioned that there are some people that are diehards that are in the gym 1 to 2 hours every day, every other day, and they go 6 to 7 times a week. You don't necessarily need to do that to provide the health benefits from just basic exercising. For me personally, what I like to do is that if I'm at work I will actually get up from my desk and maybe go up a couple of flight of stairs, come back down. If the weather, permits that I can actually go outside and take a quick walk around the building, I will do that as well. So getting some steps in is very important to me, as long as you get your blood circulating and your body moving. But another easy approach to a simple exercise is just these bands. These bands right here can actually help to stretch. And you can stretch your arms. You can stretch your arms this way. You can stretch your arms back this way. You can actually stretch them back behind your back. You can pull the band in the back of you and come forward, which gives you a nice little stretch there as well. Just simply tossing your head from one side to the other can alleviate a lot of neck stress. Neck rolls can alleviate stress, as well as going in the up and down position, and maybe holding it there for just a few minutes to relieve some of that stress that's built up in the back of the neck. And also just closing your eyes and just meditating for just a few minutes, and maybe saying a prayer if something is troubling you. You can definitely relieve some stress that way. But I also sometimes have some small weights too that you can actually use, and if you just kind of feel like you have the need to kind of lift a little bit and get a really good stretch, you can definitely use smaller weights to incorporate in even 10 to 15, 20-minute little workout to get your blood going and recirculate all of those endorphins so that you're feeling better. So in conclusion, I would just like to say that the benefits of exercising are very beneficial for stress relievers. It doesn't have to be a long time. It can just be as minimal as 15 to 20 minutes a day, if even that. But as long as you're getting some sort of release factor in there for you, you will actually benefit from that and alleviate the stress. Thank you so much for listening. Be blessed and take care.